Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Aleem Zubair here. And before we begin this session, I would like to first introduce and invite the honorable panelists for this discussion. सबसे पहली हमारी panelist हैं Ms. Nazifa Butt. Ms. Nazifa has been working in WWF Pakistan for a number of years, over 18 years of experience. She is director in WWF looking after climate action and sustainability. She has worked on all the fields related to sustainability, whether it's pollution control, GHG emissions, sustainability audits. With her vast experience, she has represented her organization and our country across the world. She is spearheading the action against smog and the awareness campaigns in that regard as well. So a big round of applause for Nazifa Butt. And our second panelist is Mr. Fawadul Hassan Zubairi. Fawad is, like me, he started his career in A.F. Ferguson and Co. and has been working in one of the leading FMCG and manufacturing company, Nestle Pakistan, for a number of years. Over 2 decades of experience in financial planning, strategic management, financial reporting, taxation, you name it. He has been working across various fields and across various regions, including Middle East and Turkey. And with his current role as a corporate controller, he's also looking at the sustainability initiatives at Nestle Pakistan. So now I'll join them at the panel discussion, and we'll take it from there. Ji. So the topic of our discussion is that ESG is a matter beyond compliance. So what does this compliance mean? That we have been introduced with ESG or sustainability, as we often use these terms interchangeably, although the term sustainability, I believe, is a more vast term. But sustainability or ESG came to us in form of various requirements. For example, many organizations, जब उनके supply chain में, उनकी value chain के अंदर उनके customers जो west में काम कर रहे थे, उनकी requirements थी, तो Pakistani organizations had to step up with their sustainability actions and sustainability reporting. Then requirements came through access to finance. If you needed finance from foreign organizations, तो आपको sustainability action करना था, reporting करनी थी. कुछ ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस को सस्टेनेबिलिटी की रिक्वायरमेंट्स उनके ग्रुप्स की तरफ से, उनकी पेरेंट कंपनीज की तरफ से आई, और फाइनली जो स्ट्रॉन्ग ड्राइव सस्टेनेबिलिटी के लिए किसी भी जो रिस्ट्रिक्शन में आती है, इट comes from the regulator as well. So in Pakistan as well, SECP ने in the past few years guidelines issue की, कंपनीज को अवेयरनेस देना शुरू की, कोड ऑफ कॉर्पोरेट गवर्नेंस के अंदर चेंजेस की, एंड इन द मोस्ट रीसेंट डेवलपमेंट IFRS sustainability standards भी applicable हो गए हैं पाकिस्तान में on large listed companies from July 1, 2025, and in a phased manner बाकी listed companies को भी अगले सालों में हो जाएंगे. So with this context, हम सब लोग sustainability को एक requirement के तौर पे लेते रहे, एक चेक बॉक्स था, एक कंप्लायंस एक्टिविटी थी, कभी किसी कस्टमर के लिए, कभी किसी रेगुलेटर के लिए, कभी किसी पेरेंट कंपनी के लिए. लेकिन आज जो हम बात यहाँ पे करने के लिए आए हैं वो ये है कि सस्टेनेबिलिटी, एज द वर्ड गोज, सस्टेनेबल, एक चलने वाली चीज, एक पायदारी, एक इस्तेहकाम, एक देर पाई, ये सब बातें किस तरह से इस लफ्ज में शामिल हैं और किस तरह से ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस को हेल्प कर सकती हैं अपनी स्ट्रेटेजिक थिंकिंग चेंज करने में, और सस्टेनेबिलिटी इनिशिएटिव्स को अपनी ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस का हिस्सा बनाकर उससे बहुत सारा फायदा उठाने के लिए, ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के लिए भी, सोसाइटी के लिए भी, एनवायरनमेंट के लिए भी, मुल्क के लिए भी और दुनिया के लिए भी. सो इस कॉन्टेक्स्ट में हम गुफ्तगू करेंगे. पहला सवाल वुड बी फ्रॉम नजीफा. नजीफा, ये जो कॉन्टेक्स्ट थोड़ा सा I tried to set up the context. So Pakistan का industrial landscape and the practical challenges and the current status of sustainability initiatives and ESG reporting, इसके बारे में कुछ introductory सी बात आप कीजिए, फिर आगे लेके चलते हैं गुफ्तगू.
जी, I thank ICAP first for inviting me on this really important event and topic. I think we work as WWF, we work with more than 2,000 corporates in Pakistan, both big and small. We work very closely with the private sector too, so this subject is very close to our hearts. And so you talked about challenges. There are plenty of challenges. We are one of the most climate vulnerable countries. So हमारी society, हमारी environment, हमारे economic losses बहुत ज़्यादा connected हैं. And now it is not only the need of the hour कि जी customer ने कहा है, or it's the clients, or the government imposed regulation or एक regulatory binding आ गई है, बल्कि now businesses are actually understanding the importance of ESG, because ESG is not a target, it's not a destination, it's a journey. And there are a lot of challenges in Pakistan, unfortunately, because when it comes to businesses, I'm sure a lot of you come from different sectors of businesses. It's very important to see that, where your business is making the impact. So it's poor air quality, it's waste management, it's effluents being discharged into the water bodies, and it's a lot of impact on the society as well. Because, for example, अगर सीमेंट प्लांट लगा हुआ है कहीं कलर कहार के अंदर, तो क्या वो वहाँ की इकोलॉजिकल डाइवर्सिटी पे इम्पैक्ट नहीं करेगा? क्या वो वहाँ की जो लोकल्स हैं वहाँ पे क्या उनकी एयर क्वालिटी को हार्म नहीं करेगा? सो दोज आर ऑल्सो द चैलेंजेस दैट वी नीड टू एड्रेस जब हम ESG की बात करते हैं, बिकॉज दैट्स द एनवायरमेंटल एंड सोशल कॉम्पोनेंट. वी ऑल्सो लैक द टेक्निकल कैपेसिटी. ESG के लिए कोई पर्टिकुलर इंस्टीट्यूट नहीं है जो इस पे कोई रेगुलर कोई स्ट्रिंजेंट कोर्स वर्क पढ़ा रहा हो. ICAP fortunately is providing that training to CFOs and CEOs, and fortunately I've been a part of that too. And I think that sort of a training is required and should be mandatory, because हमारे पास National Climate Action Policy है, हमारे पास SECP की guidelines हैं, State Bank की Green Banking guidelines हैं, but I think it's important to sort of have it embedded in the systems of each business.
जी बिल्कुल सही आपने कहा कि चैलेंजेस कैपेसिटी बिल्डिंग के भी और रिसोर्सेज के भी होंगे, बट एज यू सेड इट्स अ जर्नी, और अगर हम इस सफ़र पे आगे बढ़ेंगे तो इन चैलेंजेस का हल भी निकलेगा. फवाद, रिप्रेजेंटिंग अ कॉर्पोरेट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, जाहिर है कि ये चैलेंजेस एक इंडिविजुअल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को भी फेस करना पड़ते हैं, तो हम किस तरीके से इस चेक बॉक्स एक्टिविटी को इनकॉर्पोरेट कर सकते हैं अपनी स्ट्रेटजी के अंदर, अपनी बिजनेस इनोवेशन के अंदर, और एक कंप्लायंस एक्टिविटी से बढ़ाकर बिजनेस का हिस्सा बना सकते हैं?
थैंक यू अलीम. बहुत शुक्रिया एक तो कॉल करने के लिए ऑन दिस वेरी एपेस्ट फोरम ऑफ आवर मदर इंस्टीट्यूशन. Sustainability inherently is an evolving topic, and it's a very, very important topic from a business planning standpoint as well. So as of today, you can't just take a compliance view of it that, okay, there is a standard coming up and then you have to comply with that. I think the approach has to totally change, and that's where there is a big, big room for the organizations to make it useful to them in its true spirit. Not only for them, but also for the society that we are working in as a business. I have many examples to quote, but before that, I think in terms of approaching it, you have to look at the consumer expectations, you have to look at the evolving business landscape, you have to look at the evolving social landscape where the consumer and people expectations are that as a big corporation, as a big organization, or as a responsible business, whatever you do is not harmful to the environment. And then evolving requirements around these environmental obligations are also evolving in a similar manner. So when you, for example, as a business, you have some environmental emissions. These may be related to greenhouse gases. These may be related to your water discharges or other discharges from your operations. These may be related to minimum salaries and wages. These may be related to plastics and packaging. All these need to be tackled. Now, if you don't approach it as a business strategy, you can fall into multiple traps. One of them obviously is easily non-compliance, but also it reflects on the fact that you might be missing certain opportunities. If you have a well thought out strategy where you are approaching your environmental journey and ESG journey in totality with a well thought out roadmap, then you will have certain benefits evolving as well. Because essentially at the core of it, it's a matter of, it's two aspects that we need to be mindful of. One is resource allocation, because once you are on ESG journey, you will have to have certain CapEx allocations, you will have to have certain OpEx allocations, you will have to have some technical interventions that will need time and resources. So in that scenario, you can't just move over to a sustainable state. You have to have it mapped out in terms of different interventions that you need across your value chain, whether it be labor, whether it be packaging, whether it be your core operations related to energy, water usage, water discharge, and so on and so on. So all these matters need to be taken care of very closely. The second part is the risk mitigation. And I think that's where organizations still are probably in an early stage to identify those. Because, for example, if there is a legislation that today bans plastic, what happens to our packaging? You will be in trouble. Similarly, and we have seen it in the past, regulations suddenly come in and overnight, and that's a positive evolution, frankly, that plastic bags are gone today. Now they are recyclable materials that are being used for the bags that we use for shopping. 3-4 years ago, you wouldn't have seen that. So if you follow the regulatory lead instead of using the business case to lead yourself or guide yourself, you can very much be in trouble. The second part is the resilience and agility of the value chain. So once you have this different approach of taking sustainability journey as a business opportunity, then you will have different steps identified. So you might have packaging identified as recyclable packaging from a virgin plastic usage to recyclable plastic usage. You might have certain emission related targets and that might give you opportunities in energy usage reduction. That might give you opportunities in cost savings and so on and so on. So that's why it has to be integrated as part of your core business planning from a year-to-year cycle. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Fawad. So, in our audience here, we've got a lot of CFOs and people concerned with corporate reporting. And as you rightly pointed out, the structure of reporting in the upcoming standards and the upcoming legislation is also revolving around governance, strategy, risk management, and then effectual reporting of matrices and targets. So for the CFOs and those responsible for corporate reporting, there are going to be certain challenges because sustainability practices need to be transparently disclosed and reported as well. So Nazifa, what do you think? How do you think CFOs and finance professionals and business leaders can cope up with those challenges related to transparency?
Okay, so I think we'll start with the basics because I think there's a lack of awareness and technical capacity. So we need to enhance that for all the CEOs and CFOs and CEOs. And that can be done not only through, the public sector going abroad and taking the training. So there needs to be like government planned training of the trainer programs because they are very important in order to sort of make like that foundation for all the businesses to, develop their own strategies and their own scope of work. The second thing is technological advancement. If you want companies to implement, ESG, and you know that it's very difficult in the country like ours. Science-based targets ek initiative hai. It's a global initiative and most of the companies, most of the MNCs are following those science-based targets. That, by 2030, I'm going to reduce like 20% of my business carbon emissions. And they are trying to green their supply chains through that. So CEOs, it's not easy task for them to actually implement that. So technological advancement ke liye machinery, equipment, innovation, ideas, they need to be brought in. Uske upar hame subsidies, tax rebates, those are important. And also to sort of change the dynamics, going on to renewable energy. Because wo ek aisi cheez hai that can, shift your, economic, aapko is kadar benefit mil jata hai, and there's like another side of it. Another thing is that we need to also ensure that the CEOs are also aware, because usually hamare CEOs jo hain, they're not aware, financial mindset ke hote hain, but with profitability, they need to invest and they need to make sure that, you know, ESG should make the economic sense for them. So they need to, you know, secondly, as Fawad ne bhi kaha ke environmental, social governance gaps, uski risk assessment is very important. And once that is done, they need to set up targets, public disclosures में जाएं, GRI, which is the global reporting standard, इसको हम follow कर सकते हैं. Interloop ने अभी किया है. That's probably the first company who has done that. And the investors, they have been able to attract big investors like Tundra Foundation and, you know, big customers like Nike and Adidas who now are supporting them. And of course, it's the profitability bhi badi. So the investment that they made actually yielded them results. Pakistan is a textile intensive country also. So मैं example एक उसका भी दे दूँ कि textile industry ने अपनी supply chain को भी green करने का अपनी strategy में embed कर दिया. And they want to sort of, you know, showcase to the public, to the government and to their external, you know, international customers that, okay, yes, we are compliant with the ESG standards. And they're also sending their ESG reports to the rankers like Moody. तो जब हमारे पास इस किस्म की examples मौजूद हैं, I think it's high time that all the businesses need to develop and embed, you know, elements like gender inclusivity into their governance models as well, into their professional streamlines as well. Thank you.
Ji, please.
I think I would like to add something here because it's particularly the financial community, and the question was particularly about the CFO's role and potential expectations. I think there is a very key role in terms of resource allocation, as I said earlier as well. This sustainability, rightly identified, is a long-term journey. It's not a switch-on, switch-off sort of thing. You take the example of packaging, you might take a couple of years to just change your supply chain, your suppliers, making sure the right material, because packaging has a role to preserve the product and serve it to the customer. You can't just change it overnight and then have the same product performance. So that has to be a well thought out course of action. And in that, you will need technology. You might need new machines. You might need new materials. You might need a lot of trials. And that will incur cost. And that's where CFO has to be very mindful that certain resources will have to be allocated. And they have to be allocated not just because it's being asked for, because the consumer demands are shifting. Consumer expect this to, consumer expect your products to be in a more environment-friendly packaging. So that's the driver here. Similarly, if there is energy, I think there is a lot to do. Solar and green sources of energy are predominantly now becoming cheaper as well and more doable and have a better payback. So that's where, again, the CapEx allocations come in as well. So that's one key role CFOs have to reinforce. Thank you.
बड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग पर्सपेक्टिव आपने दिया. एक्चुअली हम सब अकाउंटेंट्स ने एक इस्तिलाह सुन रखी है SRO की. सस्टेनेबिलिटी के पर्सपेक्टिव में इस SRO का एक और मतलब भी होता है. हम कहते हैं सस्टेनेबिलिटी रिस्क्स एंड अपॉर्चुनिटीज़. जब हम सस्टेनेबिलिटी रिस्क्स की बात करते हैं तो साथ अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ की बात भी करते हैं. तो बिजनेस मॉडल्स चेंज होने से, नई एनर्जी सोर्स यूज़ करने से, नई मार्केट्स को टैप करने से सस्टेनेबिलिटी एक्शन आपके लिए बहुत सी अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ भी लेके आ सकता है. लेकिन सवाल यही होगा कि हम उसको अपनी स्ट्रेटजी का हिस्सा बनाएंगे और उसके ऊपर इस तरह से काम करेंगे कि बिजनेस इनोवेशन आ सके. तो फवाद, कोई एग्जांपल्स ऐसी कि जिसमें इस रिजिलियंस के ज़रिए, क्लाइमेट एक्शन के ज़रिए, सस्टेनेबिलिटी की चेंज के लिए जिस तरह से भी आप कुछ मिसाल देना चाहें कि जो नए लोग हैं जिन्होंने अभी सस्टेनेबिलिटी पे काम नहीं किया, अभी जर्नी के स्टार्ट में हैं, उनको कुछ मोटिवेशन भी मिले कि सिर्फ रिपोर्टिंग के खौफ ही नहीं है, कोई फ़ायदा भी हो सकता है.
Absolutely, I think a very valid question in terms of the overall landscape. And as I said before, it doesn't have to be just, you know, the compliance requirement. We have to have it as a full business case and a full business preparation. And again, I will repeat myself that it has to be part of your business strategy. And why? I have many good examples. And then there are elements where there is cost, but then there are elements where they bring value addition in your operations. If I have to reflect as a sector, I think textile sector is a very good example of being progressive and proactive in terms of adopting to the changes that were required by the evolving landscape, because they are mainly export oriented. They had customer requirements that wanted them to be adopting sustainable practices, and that went not only in their sourcing but also in their operations. So they have better energy use, they have lower water use, and these both effectively reduce your cost as well once you have more optimal and efficient machinery that processes that make your product. So that's where the cost savings come in. I think another example that I can clearly quote is, for example, energy. Energy in organization that I work, and I'm very proud to share that information. We have invested close to ₹1 billion over the last couple of years. But correspondingly, we have had benefit not only in cost saving to the tune of almost ₹500 million, but also environmental reduction. That's a major reduction in our manufacturing operations. Similarly, I can also share, and that's again from country perspective, in Pakistan, the largest contribution of emissions, GHG, is from our agri and our livestock operations. Of course, that's a big part of GDP as well, but in terms of environmental impact, it has a great impact. It is a major contributor as well. So back 10 years, what we started was an intervention in our dairy supply chain. So where we inducted high yield animals for our farmers, and we promoted that, okay, instead of collecting 10, 15, 20 liters of milk, we will help develop farms which are 500 liters to 1 ton per farm. And we introduced high yield animals. And with the impact of that total inflation over the course of years is that not only our farmers are better with higher yield per animal and ultimately higher farm productivity and higher livelihood, but also lower emissions. So while we were able to improve the productivity by 5 times for the animals and for the farms, so instead of 5 liters, we have now 25 liters per animal production. And at the same time, over the course of 10 years, we are able to reduce our emissions by 40% in terms of our dairy sourcing. So that's one example. And again, with that, we have been able to densify our collection network, which again has enabled savings to the tune of billions over the course of years. So that's where you have to have a business approach to the whole sustainability journey. Thank you.
Great examples, Fawad. So as you can see from these examples, के sustainability को जब उन्होंने अपने business processes का हिस्सा बनाया, rethink किया, innovate किया, तो productivity भी बढ़ाई, cost भी कम की, और emissions को भी reduce कर लिया. So that's what we're talking about here. वक्त की किल्लत के लिए अब हम closing remarks की तरफ जाते हैं. So Nazifa, any key takeaways and closing messages for our business professionals here?
So the first thing is that equip yourself with the right knowledge, and the reporting standards are very easy to implement and to sort of, be transparent about it. But, we need to sort of do we need to do our own homework as well before we sort of make any public, disclosures. Another thing that I would like to state is that it's a very, very sustainable and profitable investment. So whatever you're going to invest today is going to come back to you. When you're investing into ESG, of course, you're creating more opportunities for green jobs. You're making, way for the future and the youth to actually engage into businesses which are long-term, and they benefit the society and the environment both. And of course, when he talked about business sense, I think when we as WWF work with the private sector, they are always talking about, what are the savings that I'm going to make? And if I'm going to spend X amount of money, how much am I going to get back? So yes, environment does make sense, society does make sense, and it gives back to you.
Great. And Fawad, closing remarks?
I think from this, there is this element of, integrate it into your business plans. If you have plans, then you can really spell out the cost and ultimately the benefits as well. There will definitely be certain projects with cost, but there are multiple projects that are with the saving as well. Secondly, this will help you to enable different green financing options that are coming along our way and the funds that are evolving around this particular subject. So that's one. Second, let's remember that it's going to be a long-term journey and long-term investment. It's not going to be a quick fix. It needs resources, both capital, technical, and operational resources. And thirdly, as is the theme of the whole session, let's stay ahead of the curve. Let's not follow the regulation, but stay ahead of the curve by having a business case around this whole sustainability requirement. Thank you very much.
जी, thank you very much to our speakers. So, a closing message, sustainability को एक compliance activity से ज़्यादा की चीज़ समझिए, अपने बिजनेस प्रोसेसेस का, अपनी स्ट्रेटजी का हिस्सा बनाइए, तो इसमें आपकी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का भी फ़ायदा है, एनवायरनमेंट का भी फ़ायदा है, मुल्क का भी फ़ायदा है और दुनिया का भी फ़ायदा है। आप सबकी तवज्जो का बहुत शुक्रिया।